beat the Donkeys and sent their fans home. I give them credit. They brought a lot of fans. I've gone to Twitter war. If you go to my pinned tweet, going right back at them. But, hey, I give them credit. Fans are coming to Vegas. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm not going to the airport like the Game of Thrones, putting up a wall with a dragon at the airport saying you can't come to Vegas. I've been Mr. Vegas a long time. Anybody can come if they want to scalp tickets and pay $400 to go to a football game. There's nothing I can do about it. Denver traveled well. They really did. And they all went home, and a lot of them passed me in the Modelo Cantina, walking past me with a minute and a half to go because they lost the game. So as I tweeted out, thank you for coming. 5 in a row for the Raiders. Thanks for paying for Allegiant Stadium. Thanks for paying your hotel tax. And Denver loses again. Man, the Raiders are a pain in the butt to the Denver Broncos now. 6 of 7, 5 in a row. Got Vic Fangio fired, and I'll tell you, this Nate Hackett's in trouble. He's in trouble because that team has absolutely no chemistry. Now, everything hasn't been perfect with Josh McDaniels and the Raiders and Derek Carr, but I know their plan inside the building. I think it's a good one. And I think it's a really good game plan. Josh McDaniels is not going to get out-coached by any defensive coordinator. Let me make that clear. He's going up against Andy Reid next Monday. Andy Reid's a Hall of Fame play caller. Josh McDaniels is a Hall of Fame play caller. He won't go to the Hall of Fame as an assistant coach. He'll have to make his bones as a head coach, but he's a great play caller. Defensively, I think the Raiders got some problems, other than a couple of guys who really pop off the field and do a great job. Special teams is nowhere near as good as it was last year under Rich Bisaccia as a special teams coach. He's a hell of a special teams coach. This team has got some athletes that are trying to figure it out. But I was just really impressed with Josh Jacobs, as we talked about him all last week. And this would be a game where he could run hard. He's run hard against Denver in the past, so we expected him to run hard again. When I spoke to the head coach last Thursday, he talked about how impressed he was. The fact that Josh made the trip to Nashville, they didn't know how much he would play, and he played more than they expected. So why is Josh Jacobs doing this? A, he's playing for a contract, and B, he's a hardcore football player. Went to Alabama, plays for the famed Las Vegas Raiders, formerly the LA and Oakland Raiders. He wears that jersey with pride, and he ran hard yesterday. And man, Derek Carr ran the football like we've been talking about for years on this show. Encouraging Derek Carr to run because we believe he can do it. And he was able to do it yesterday, and he ran with a purpose. He ran when he had to. He moved the chains. He did what we expect of him. Be an athlete, Derek. Show everybody how good of an athlete you are, and Derek did that yesterday. No interceptions, no touchdowns. If you would have told me that before the game, Carr throws for under 200 without a touchdown, I'd say, uh-oh, oh no, oh my. Raiders lose by double digits. But they didn't lose by double digits because Carr ran the ball and made really good decisions with the football. Mad Max Crosby, who I keep in touch with, he's just a beast. It's one of the great recent Raider draft picks. The guy is just playing at a first-round level. He's playing at a top 15 pick in the league. And he's been doing that for quite some time. He has been the difference for the Raiders in that pass rush. I thought Chandler Jones played well. I really did. I watched him and isolated on him. Chandler Jones played well. He got behind the line of scrimmage multiple times. There were some penalties held against him, and he did a nice job. It was a good game for him to get going here, even though he's off to a slow start. And the return of Perryman was very important, too. Right out of the gate, first tackle of the game, got the crowd going in the game. So there's a lot to get to. What we like to do on Monday is talk about the game before we look ahead to Kansas City. We get an extra day to do that because Monday Night Football tonight, Rams at the 49ers, and then the Raiders play a week from Monday. I don't want to get into Kansas City today. I want to dive into that on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and really get into what the Raiders have to do to beat Kansas City. But I think it's good for the organization and the fans that we celebrate this victory today. 702-365-9200. And did you see something in this game that makes it clear to you that the Raiders now finally have an identity? I think the identity of the team, for me, should be Devontae Adams. I think he's the best player on offense. I think the offense should run through him. But as I told you when Josh McDaniels got hired, I think the strength of this new coach is he's able to flip a game plan like he did last year in New England when they played in Buffalo, and they only threw it 3 times and ran the ball and beat the Bills. And I think that Josh McDaniels is excellent, not good, at excellent at installing a game plan that could be completely different. So as we talk about Kansas City this week, I think they're going to run the ball. Why wouldn't they? Josh ran it for 144 yards. It would keep Mahomes on the sideline. It did that to Russell Wilson. But with Kansas City, you got to embrace the shootout. Tom Brady last night had a plan. They wanted to run it. They wanted to eat up clock, and they couldn't. They were getting buried at home in the first quarter, and then Brady had to put it in the air almost every play and try to get back into the game. So that's about the game plan this week. If you went to the game, what jumped out at you? I loved the Don Felder Hotel California. I didn't like it. I loved it. Guy was dressed like Elvis in a white suit playing Hotel California. That was fantastic. Really good entertainment at the game. The weather was great. The tailgate was unbelievable. All the friends that I got a chance to see in the building. And thanks to everybody who came up to the torch, holding up Modelo's, saying, JT, I have a Modelo. I said, I can't have the Modelo. We're here working. Let's get the show done, and then we can tip a Modelo. And the Raider Nation was out in full force. So congratulations to the fans who don't constantly rip on this team and rip this team and tear it when it's down, and then jump in on the bandwagon when they win and pop around telling everybody how much they love the Raiders. We talk to the Raider fans who are a little bit more consistent on this show. High, low, and then consistent. A lot of Raider fans have been hitting this team hard over the last month, and rightfully so. They hadn't won a game. So let's hear from some of those Raider fans today who have been kind of hard on the team, hard on the coach, hard on the quarterback. Let's show a level of consistency where you can come in and say, you know, I've been hard on this team, but they played hard. They ran the ball hard. Offensive line played their best game. Max Crosby's a beast. Let's get some positivity in here, because I don't want my mental health to deteriorate because every show is bleeping negative and the team losing and everybody's just throwing kerosene on the fire. That's not how we're going to do it here. We're going to celebrate the victories, and we're going to be critical of the losses. So let's have that energy this week and enjoy it. A week from Monday, we'll be at the M Resort. Spawn Casino, me and Eric Allen will be there for Monday Night Football right outside the Raiders Tavern and Grill. All right, let's get to some of the sound bites, the highlights of the game. And we begin with Josh Jacobs and his performance on the ground. I thought he was amazing. For years on this show, since Josh has been here, I said, you're a big-time running back in this league when you can get 120, 140 yards. Anybody can get 60. And Josh has had too many games that were in the 60s or the 50s only because they didn't give it to him enough. They weren't going to give it to him enough because they were passing it more. This was a game where Josh needed the football. He needed it heavy. He needed it often in this game, and they came right out of the gate and made a statement with him.
Collins and Waller off to the left. Broncos show blitz. The handoff to Jacob. Push to the 10. Cuts the field 5. Drives forward. Begin. Touchdown, Josh Jacobs. Touchdown, Raiders. He bullied his way through the end zone on an 11-yard carry, and the Raiders take a 9-7 lead with 11:46 in the half.
Jason Horowitz on all these calls, Compass Media Network. So let's stop there for a second on how important that was to give the Raiders a 10-7 lead. The Raiders won the toss and elected to receive. They didn't defer. They went on an 11-play, 60-yard drive and only got 3 points. And then Cortland Sutton had a 5-yard touchdown and made it 7-3 Denver. So I'm sitting in my seats at the game saying to myself and to my wife, uh-oh, the Raiders got to have a lead at the halftime here because Denver's getting the ball. And Russell Wilson is really good at clock management. So that first half, that Josh Jacobs touchdown was critical. Brandon McManus came up with a 28-yard field goal after that. But then the play of the year so far, because the Raiders don't score much on defense, it needed to happen, and it finally happened. A defensive touchdown on the Amik Robertson scoop and score.
The snap and the handoff to Gordon across the 40, down to the 35, and the ball is out! And Robertson has it in his stomach, and he's racing downfield for the Raiders. 50, 45, 40, Robertson near sideline, 20, 10, defensive touchdown, Raiders!
Fantastic call from Jason. Those are really good, outstanding play-by-play calls along with the great Lincoln Kennedy. Really enjoy the work that he's doing as the new voice of the Raiders there. That was a great call, and it's been a while and the Raiders get a defensive touchdown, which was critical in this game. I don't know if they win without a defensive touchdown because Derek didn't throw a touchdown. They needed to get some points on defense, and they were able to pull it off in this game. Very important, huge moment in the game to get something going. Now, there was confusion on the Raider defense. As I've been pointing out, I've been saying for weeks, the middle of the field is wide open. Somebody fix the middle of the field. I told you this in Nashville. I'm telling it to you this week. What the hell's going on in the middle of the field? Why are guys running wide open on this soft zone in the middle of the field until they make the adjustment? Russell Wilson's unbelievable down the middle of the field making plays. This was a play again. Raiders confused on D.
Raiders all kinds of confusion. Broncos are ready to go. They get the snap. Wilson settles, throws downfield. Wide open, hitting at the 35. Steps to a tackle 25. And out of bounds at the 20. Trayvon Merrick finally saved a touchdown. But man, oh man, they weren't ready to go on defense, and that's a 35-yard pick.
What do you mean not ready to go on defense? What are you talking about? What's with this soft zone? Over the middle of the field, figure it out. Play man-to-man more. Play a little bit harder and more physical. Jack someone up at the line of scrimmage. Put your hands on somebody. This has been a month where the middle of the field is wide open. Not open, wide open against every team. You know, we can say that when we talk about Kyler Murray. He causes that type of confusion. But come on here. Let's clean this up on defense with the Raiders here. That could be costly for this team if they don't figure out what the hell's going on out there. That was terrible. And I really think the mistakes on the defense and the soft coverage before the adjustments are a concern for me. Over the middle linebacker and before the safeties, this zone is wide open all year long, and I think they got to clean it up. And I'm confident they can clean it up. They have no choice but to do that.